Chairman, with these few words, I think I'm popular enough for everybody to know me. Thank you, Chairman.
Very well, Honorable Dr. Amoah. Colleagues, that's our MP and a member of this committee. Now the floor is open. Yes. Yes, Honorable Kobogu.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Honorable nominee, congratulations.
Thank you, Chairman.
The government rolled out a program called 1D1F to cut down on imports and increase our exports. Can you share with the committee the impact of this program on the Ghanaian economy?
Thank you, Chairman. Chairman, I think
Honorable Stephen Amoah, as you may recall, Chairman expects you to be very brief.
Chairman, thank you very much. Honorable Chairman, I think the issue with 1D1F, in summary, has become a household name because of its tremendous impact on our socio-economic framework as a country. The impact can be seen in the area of employment. Tens of thousands of young people, including women, have been employed as a result of the 1D1F. Apart from that, we have about 126 companies in operations. What I mean is that completed and they are working. We can talk of, sorry, I'm sorry, sir. We can talk of Casapreco. Mr. Chairman, when I talk of Casapreco, sometimes people think it was an existing company. But then what I mean is that companies do embark on diversification, creating new businesses, and a lot more. Ekumfi, we know what they are doing today. We have a lot of them. Sunda, different places. In almost all the regions, we have 1D1F that has employed a lot of people. Some are even doing exportation. That means it has reduced our import-driven economy, which has been one of the major challenges confronting us. So, Mr. Chairman, what that I can say is that in the area of employment and in the area of reducing our import-driven economy and addition in terms of value and the proportion to our GDP. That's all that I can say. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Honorable nominee, what is the current state of Commander Sugar Factory? And what do you think must be done to operationalize it as part of the process to cut down on our imports?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. What I know so far about the factory honorable member is talking about is that I think just about a few months back, I'm talking about 2022, major refurbishment has been done there. It has been retooled, and even they've run a test. And if you consider the value chain of every company, if all these things are done, then we are good to go. My understanding is that they are working very fast, making sure that they get the needed raw material to work within the first segment of the value chain, which is the outbound. So I think it is really, really doing well, to the point of even trying to have seedlings, the hybrid type that will yield a lot of sugarcane to meet the capacity requirement of the machine. So I think we are on course so far as the factory is concerned. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Then my last question, Honorable Nominee, reading your CV, you indicate that you did a PhD at KNU, Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. From 2015 to 2020, it took you 5 years. What exactly did you research into, and how relevant it is?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. In the first place, my PhD options were basically in finance, macroeconomics, and mathematics under actuarial science. And what I sought to do is to curb a major prevailing economic challenge in our country, which has gone through all regimes. Mr. Chairman, I realize that Ghana is the only country I know, I'm using myself, as a first person singular, I know that governments, not only one government, but all governments, borrow from investors on our domestic market at a higher rate than the private sector, which is an anomalous fundamentally. And technically is one of the major causes of high cost of doing business, unemployment, and other things. Time may not allow me. So I decided to test the models that we use to actually measure these pricing of these assets. 1965 was by Sharp, and then in the 70s by a gentleman that I've forgotten the name anyways in the work, and then Hanan and Lian did the next one, and Derby did 2015. But they all were not applicable on our market. So I had to do an optimal one, which was marked by professors from Canada, Pakistan, and Ghana. So what I sought to do is to provide a new financial economic model that will curb this situation. In fact, that's the summary of what I did. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
So you have been awarded your PhD already. But
Yes, sir.
when you did the model, what solution did you come out with?
Yeah, Chairman, I think, as I said, the solution was to curb the fundamental anomaly that we have in our system. Because, Chairman, you realize that if a government which is supposed to offer risk-free assets, when you say risk-free, is supposed to give less returns than private sector, which is risky, is offering a higher returns, it will be difficult for even the banks to give monies to individual investors and entrepreneurs. And if you check the records of the bank, some of them even give as high as 70%, they invest in government securities. Governments do not necessarily create value chains to employ people. So my model was meant to reverse this situation so that there will be availability of adequate funds to investors and entrepreneurs at a cheaper rate so that the industry can grow organically and employ a lot of people. So that was what my model was actually seeking to do. And it has been tested because mathematical models or financial economic models, they are like a car. Without testing it, you cannot say it works or not. It fits into any situation. And I pray that our country will use it to benefit us. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Very well. Who is the next? Nilante. Yes, Nilante.
Dr. Amoah, first, you just talk about one district, one factory. How much of the taxpayers' money has gone into one district, one factory as at now? And apart from the employment impact you mentioned, what other returns worthy enough to be, let me say, measured with this amount of money that has sunk into one district, one factory?
Thank you very much, Chairman. If I can sit here and say I know the exact amount, then I'm lying. I'm afraid, sorry, I don't know the exact amount. But what I know is that in terms of value derived, we've done a lot. That policy has done a lot for us. We are all talking about import substitution. We are talking about unemployment. We are talking about the cost of doing businesses. You realize that a lot of companies, Mr. Chairman, there's a company called, I think, Akomufie, that develops toilet rolls from bamboo. And trust me, there was also another company that I've forgotten, but I can show you later on that was importing the same jumbo rolls from Nigeria. As I'm talking to you now, apart from the fact that they export to reduce import-driven economy, now the other company has stopped importing from Nigeria and importing from this company I'm talking about. You realize that 1D1F, not just that, in terms of considering its integral component of our GDP, it's done a lot. So, of course, we have put in with the expectation that our economic framework will be properly redefined. So, Mr. Chairman, that's what I can say about it. Thank you very much.
How many items on an ordinary market shelf will you say have been substituted with any product from 1D1F? How many?
I can't give you the number, but a lot. A lot. We all know a lot. I mentioned toiletry. I mentioned, is it juice? I mentioned a lot of them. Even dog feeding or dog feet, and then there is a Keda ceramic, cement. Mr. Chairman, they even import these tiles to Cameroon, and the Cameroonians are now falling in love with this product. They wonder, is it from Ghana? They are even stopping importing from the European countries now. So, sir, a lot of the products, a lot of them on the market today. Thank you, Chairman.
Ms. Amoah, let me take you to trade facilitation. One of the most important activity of your ministry, Ministry of Trade and Industry, is trade facilitation. What are the benefits of trade facilitation, and how will you assist your minister to stimulate this activity of the ministry?
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, I think trade facilitation, if I heard you right, to the best of my understanding, actually deals with any measures or policies either in kind or cash, whether by training, orientation, resource provision, capital access, facilitating all those things to boost trading or trade, to ensure that as a country we can have sustainable economic growth, and also make sure that domestically issues with this import-driven economy will be reduced. So trade facilitation can be in kind and cash. Cash will mean that government can support architects in the field to access cheaper funds, such as what is happening 1D1F and other, distressed companies. If you look at the 10 points that the ministry came out to transform our industry, the first one is stimulus package for distressed companies that are viable. So these are all activities within the facilitation of trade, trade ministry to the traders and then the trading activity. That's what I can say. Chairman, thank you very much.
Okay. Yes. Any from here? All right. Yes.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. Honorable nominee, I've heard you on several platforms argue that the economy of Ghana is suffering also because of the Russian-Ukraine war. Now, I want to ask a very simple question in respect of import substitution. When you look at the countries that Ghana generally imports from and the quantum of, the quantum of import that we have, for example, Ghana imports refined petroleum to the tune of, that is only in 2021, to the tune of $669 million. When you talk about cars, we imported to the tune of $492 million. Rice was $391 million. Delivery trucks, $289 million. And if you look at the countries that we mostly we mostly import from, we have China, we have Netherlands, we have United States, we have India, and we have United Arab Emirates. If you look at all these countries, none of them actually is Russia and Ukraine. To what extent has the Russia-Ukraine war affected, the economy of Ghana, and particularly with respect to trade?
Chairman, thank you very much. Chairman, I think just a couple of days ago, the IMF boss, her statement underpins the fact that all the statements I've been making and my respectable honorable member is asking, I am in a way exonerated because she attributed the challenge of our country to Russia and Ukraine war. Secondly, Chairman, I think we have two main periods of this government or categories. First, preceding COVID and the war, what were the primary micro indicators? We're growing averagely 7% a year. In fact, lending rate have been reduced from almost 40% to 20%. Policy rate, which is the government interest rate, have been reduced from about 25.5 to about 12. Treasury bills have been reduced within the same period and maturity dates from almost about 25.2 to about 14%. You can count all these things. In fact, even interest payment, which is leading to most of our challenges today, started increasing from 2012 to 2016. And between 2016 and 18, they started reducing and started going up 2019, sorry. So everybody will attest to the fact that when these two global crises, I mean talking about the Ukraine-Russia war and then the COVID, the global value chain got affected adversely to the extent that even things that were importing into this country, the same item they were charging about $2,000, $4,000, they started charging $12,000. And I'm saying it's global because, sorry, Ghana is a very, remarkable member of the globe within the domain of the global framework. Let's look at other developed economies. I'm not comparing them, but even the developed economies that we depend on. Mr. Chairman, UK's inflationary rate for the past 46 years is at its worst. And it's a fact. In fact, post-COVID inflationary rate has been increased by almost 400%.
Honorable nominee, so in other words, you just stand by your position regarding the state of the Ghanaian economy.
So, Mr. Speaker, all that I'm saying is that all that I'm trying to say is that it is a fact, crystal clear, that yes, Ghana is suffering. It's a fact. But the context in which it is suffering is as a result of the global crisis. And there's evidence to that effect. Thank you, Chairman.
Mr. Chairman, just a very quick follow-up on that. Because
I'll count that as your question.
Oh, very well,
So if
Mr.
it's not important for you, change it.
Very well, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, let me ask the honourable nominee that your explanation is leader. Your explanation does not really answer the question I posed. The question is that to what extent has the Russian-Ukraine war directly affected our economy, and for that matter, trade, particularly, which is a ministry you are going. So I'm expecting that maybe there are particular products that you know of coming from Russia, Ukraine, or you know of some trade transaction between Russia, Ukraine, and Ghana that you may want the committee to know. So if you may grant us some further explanation on that one.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, thank you very much, and thank you for your clarity. Mr. Chairman, I think as a result of these two incidents, we realize that everybody can attest to the fact that we do import from Ukraine. Understand, is it flour, bread, and all those things?
Oh, if you can give the specifics, it will be very helpful.
Wheat, but for bread and stuff like that. And because of the war, the value chain or the supply chain got affected. Because of these crises, private sector sacked over 40,000 people. And definitely, if private sector is sacking people, it affects trade or trading activities in Ghana. And I think it is quite clear that these facts have strong correlation between what is happening today on our market in terms of trading and then our economy and the war. I think they are positively correlated. Thank you very much.
Mr. Speaker, I would need the honorable nominee to submit to us the data or the document that says that the private sector sacked 40,000 workers. Because this is a matter of fact that he has said, and we need to substantiate it, because I don't know where it's coming from.
Oh, did you say you were quoting from any document? Did you say you were quoting from any particular document?
Chairman, what I meant was an estimated number that various stakeholder groups have earlier stated. Thank you, Chairman.
Chairman, can you confirm whether you said we import bread also from Ukraine? Wheat. Oh, he's listening. Doc, did you say we import bread also from Ukraine?
Honorable members, order. Let him answer the question. Yes.
Mr. Chairman.
Oh, he's not done. Let him finish. He has one more opportunity.
Yes, I know, Mr. Chairman. It's also very important for.
No, after that, I'll give it to you.
Yes,
after
leadership to also listen to his answers.
Yes.
Because you keep asking questions that he's already provided answers to.
I'll regulate that, don't worry. Yes, please.
No, Mr. Chairman, he was supposed to provide some further information, or I can just go ahead.
Please proceed. You have one more question.
Very well, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, the honorable nominee has also touted the 1D1F project as one of the major projects of the government that has actually contributed to reduction in unemployment. I think you have said that multiple times. Can you confirm whether or how many municipalities within Greater Accra region that are benefited from 1D1F, and especially my constituency, Medina, whether the people of Medina have benefited from 1D1F in the last 6 years of the administration, and Wa East as well. And if confirmed, what you do about the fact that these constituencies have not benefited from 1D1F. Thank you.
Yes, Honorable.
Chairman, thank you very much. If I may be allowed to state some of the companies in Greater Accra. Chairman, we have Nerplus Company Limited, recycling of plastic waste, Katamanso, Pong Kantamanso as a district. We have Pong Kantamanso, thank you, sir. We have Atlantic Life Sciences Limited, manufacturer of pharmaceutical products.
Hold on, what are you quoting from?
I'm quoting from a document, Source Trade Ministry, Trade and Industry
This
Ministry.
document has been placed before Parliament more than 3 times. So it is already on record.
Mr. Chairman, then it answers the question that my brother asked. Thank you very much.
Yes, it's already.
I want him to confirm what he will do about that. Because it's so key, because the people of Medina are listening, and they've heard that the incoming deputy minister is saying that 1D1F projects across board has contributed to reduce unemployment. I want to know exactly.
Honorable,
with respect to my
1DF1 project, the minister has been to the House to answer on so many occasions. There are private sector initiatives. Probably if you start one, you qualify and you get the finance support to do it. It is not, government says that there are some specific areas where, because of lack, government may intervene. But otherwise, it is expected that you, constituents of Medina will initiate the project. So,
Mr. Chairman, then I want the nominee to know that in Medina currently we have the Medina Job Center, which has initiated a number, which has, oh yes, but it's the community, Medina community. Would you consider partnering Medina Job Center if approved, you know, I mean, with the support of the 1D1F for some of the projects being undertaken by the Medina Job Center?
Mr. Chairman, yes.
yes, Alawuzi.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Honorable nominee, welcome to the Appointments Committee for the first time. I think you have been waiting for it for a very long time now. And I think that finally your dream has come true. Somebody says it's at the wrong ministry. I don't know if that is, if he knows something I don't know.
We have all been lobbying for him, and we know the ministry we're hoping he will go to.
Members, order, or please continue.
Of this
Interjection,
hijack.
unnecessary interjection.
Very unnecessary interjection. Mr. Chairman, let me start by showing these to the nominee, with your permission. Yes, for his comments and possible answer to a few questions. So can the clerk pass just to the...
Can they give it to the clerk to take it to him directly?
Where is the clerk? And they're all seated. Because we can...